Hello everyone, I'm Nini FC and this is CWANless TV, and today I'm bringing you guys another transfer daily video. Now, before I get straight into the video, please, if you haven't pressed the bell notification sign, please press that. It'll take you less than a second. It's right beside the subscription tab. Stay tuned to all things CWANless TV. But anyway, getting straight into the video, I've got a few things to discuss. Obviously, apologies for not bringing out any videos recently. I have been away, I haven't been by my computer, so apologies for that. But anyway, starting with the first news, and that is Van Dijk. Now with this story, I'm actually going to be linking in Van Dijk and David Luiz at the same time because they both link together. Now we do know that a Van Dijk bids did fail during the summer, and we do know that Conte is a massive fan. Conte was talking about Van Dijk in an interview recently, and he was stressing how much of a fan he was of the defender. Now reports have come out as well stating that Conte isn't necessarily comfortable with strengthening the rivals in the league in terms of Man City, Liverpool, United, and he would prefer to have Van Dijk at Chelsea. But Nini, having Van Dijk at Chelsea, we're already stacked with defenders, and yes, I do agree with you. But this is where David Luiz comes into play. Now, I have known for the past 2 weeks the extent of David Luiz's injury. It looks like he won't be back until probably the end of January or maybe the beginning of February, because I have been told beforehand that his knee has flared up again and there are complications. And we know with the medical department at Chelsea that they don't really rush any players who are injured straight back into the first team. They're very cautious and they're very patient. Now the reports coming out about David Luiz, I must say I think they are wrong. I have been told that Conte and Luiz have in fact sorted out their differences already, and the real reason has been that Luiz has had an injury with his knee. Now, we know where the problem first came up. That was with that disgusting Aguero tackle on David Luiz, and since then he has been struggling a bit with it. There was a recent game during this season where he had his knee bandaged, and I've been stressing this a lot of times. This has been the reason for why he's been losing certain tackles he shouldn't be losing, and this is why he hasn't been as dominant in the air. That's because of course you do need your knee for power, to generate that power to jump in the air and to obviously switch sides to really tackle defenders as well. And so far it is indefinite in terms of when David Luiz will be back. But there is one thing, number one, Conte isn't lying. There have been reports in the press stating that they think that he's using the Luiz injury as an excuse to get rid of him, which is wrong. And most likely Luiz won't be leaving in January at all. And of course, anytime I say most likely, I'm always 90% sure, but in football, the 10% is still there and anything can still happen. But Luiz isn't going to be leaving during January. And if Luiz isn't going to leave, that means that Van Dijk won't come in during January. And we must realise we have a budget in terms of how much we can spend during January, so there's no way that Van Dijk will be coming during this period. Now, clubs are interested in David Luiz. Real Madrid especially are a club interested in him, and reports have come out stating that United, Bayern Munich and Arsenal are also interested in bringing in David Luiz. Now, there is a possibility that Chelsea might think of moving David Luiz on in the summer. Now during that time, that could be the periods where Van Dijk potentially could come, and of course that would start with a bid. And I kind of think that Conte is hoping that Chelsea do sign him, because there's a very realistic possibility, and I have been told as well that it looks like Luiz and Gary Cahill could be leaving during next summer. Of course Zuma will be coming back, and even then, in regards to Zuma, Conte still feels he needs another loan move, which I think is quite disappointing. I've been told that Conte wants him to be out on loan. It's clear that Conte doesn't rate Zuma as highly, and again, when managers don't necessarily rate a player, it doesn't mean that manager's always right. Different managers have different preferences, we know that, that's how football works. But I'm just hypothesizing that Conte would like Van Dijk to come in. With two defenders leaving, that's going to give room for another defender to come in, and Conte is hoping that defender will be Van Dijk. Now John Terry did give his opinions on Van Dijk. He stated that he doesn't feel that Van Dijk would necessarily walk into the Chelsea team. He feels that he'd walk into any other Premier League defence, but for Chelsea there's a possibility that he might not make it into the team. And you know what, I do agree with John Terry. Now I've been stressing this point since summer, throughout summer actually, that if we spent ridiculous amounts of money on Van Dijk, it is a case of diminishing returns. Now, what does that mean? Well, our defence is top class already as a unit. We've got a lot of very good quality individual defenders, but I can't necessarily state what attributes make him an upgrade compared to all our other defenders. But at Chelsea, our defenders might not necessarily all be the top 1 or 2 in the world, but they're in that same category. And I feel that if we did spend millions on Van Dijk, it's not really going to improve the team as a whole. Yeah, you might win an extra few tackles or win a few extra aerial balls, But at the same time, most times in football, you're not actually conceding goals because of individual mistakes. It usually comes from team play or exploiting a tactical fault. And for this reason, as I'm stating, I agree with John Terry. I feel that if we did spend extreme amounts of money on Van Dijk, it's not really going to add anything that much to the team. Now moving on to the next story, and that is Wilfried Zaha of Crystal Palace. It's been reported by the Daily Mirror that Chelsea are interested in signing Wilfried Zaha for £40 million. But as I've been told, and as being reported by the Evening Standard today, Palace of course are going to reject all offers for Wilfried Zaha. Wilfried Zaha has been used as a number 9 this season, and Palace want to continue using him as a number 9. This is a bit of a weird rumour. If anything, again, it's another attacking player we're being linked with, and of course we're going to be linked with them because that's going to be a massive area we're going to be looking to upgrade or sign reinforcements for. So if anything, the truth is that we are looking for attacking players. But realistically, Zaha is not going to be coming in January unless a club bids £50 million for him, which is ridiculous money. And Palace can't afford to lose their best player, one of the Premier League's best players so far this season, when they're in a relegation battle. Now I must say I really rate Zaha very highly, and in a way it really shows you the type of patience you need to have with young players. Now the reason why I felt that Zaha did flop at Manchester United was the fact that Sir Alex Ferguson just wasn't there anymore. Now with Sir Alex Ferguson, young players did get more attention, and I feel that Sir Alex could have really helped tweak and retune Zaha to be more effective pretty early on. With football, young players, especially players with very high potential, they need game time. He got that game time at Crystal Palace, and he's been slowly developing and improving, and he's been very effective in the final third. He's probably the most skillful player in the Premier League. He's been winning games for Palace single-handedly with his assists, his play, his goals. You can't tackle the guy. An exceptional dribbler, and he's got that final ball delivery now in the final third. If anything, you should be playing in the Champions League now. Wouldn't be surprised if we are linked with him again in the summer, but I do feel that Zaha's best position has been playing on the left hand side, where he is able to cut inside and take shots. On the right hand side, he has to play more of a support role. I feel that on the left it's more effective, but then we have Eden Hazard, and I kind of feel that unless you're going to play Hazard up front, which isn't going to happen, Zaha is never going to be as super effective as we know he can be so far this season if he is told to play on the right hand side. In my opinion, I prefer for us to go for a guy who's got a left foot. We need to really complement that front three. We've got a guy on the left hand side that has a right foot. Now on the right hand side, I feel we need a player who's got a left foot. Now there are options. A guy that's been impressing me is Malcolm, and I really love his development, especially because again, this was a guy that was linked with big money moves to Manchester United when he was a teenager. But you can't afford to really go to a big club when you are in your teenage years or in your early 20s, because they don't care about giving you that game time to really develop. Now it's no surprise, but with consistent game time, Malcolm's now playing with that confidence of a player with the potential to be a very world-class winger. His left foot's amazing, his long shots are amazing. That would be the type of player that would make sense and would complement the front three. Riyad Mahrez is a guy that I like to see as well. That's the type of options I like to see us being linked with. Even then, in regards to Crystal Palace, I did state that they are using Wilfried Zaha as a number 9. They want to continue to use him there, but it seems that maybe potentially Benteke could possibly be available in the January transfer window. Now, Crystal Palace are looking for reinforcements. I've said in my previous videos that Roy Hodgson isn't necessarily happy with Benteke. I heard that they are making a bid of £20 million for Tosin from Besiktas, Turkish striker. They're going to be bringing in a pretty big striker in January. So Crystal Palace are feeling if they are able to bring in a replacement for Benteke, cash in on him, use that money to fund a bigger striker and use that money to reinvest into the squad in the January transfer window. And that could be the best move for Crystal Palace as a whole. Moving on to the next story, and that is about Willian. Now, reports are coming out that it looks like Mkhitaryan could possibly be leaving Manchester United. And as the case with most clubs, they aren't going to be bringing in replacements unless someone in the squad is going to be leaving already. It seems like, in my opinion, I don't feel that Mkhitaryan necessarily complements what Mourinho wants. Mkhitaryan suits very well in a team that has a unified attacking display. For example, if Mkhitaryan was at Man City, you'd be seeing a completely different Mkhitaryan. But again, he's not the type of player to fully take responsibility and create things out of nothing and take that attacking burden on by himself. I mean, playing as an attacking player for Jose Mourinho is one of the most difficult things because he doesn't care about team play and build-up play. It's all about individual quality every single time. And in football at this level, it's just not necessarily the best thing to do because it's just so unrealistically hard to maintain that type of individual quality game in, game out. Now, Mkhitaryan has been linked with Inter Milan and a return to Dortmund. Now, if that does happen, Jose Mourinho does want to bring back Willian. Now, here's the thing, as I've been stating, Willian will leave if a replacement is brought in instead. Now, to me, it's no surprise why the clubs are looking at... Now, to me, it's no surprise that Willian would be the replacement for Mkhitaryan because Willian has worked under Mourinho. They've got a fantastic relationship. He's been very good under Jose Mourinho. This is normally the thing with transfer markets, you know, to get player A, player B has to be sold from their respective club. Chelsea obviously preparing for wholesale changes. Chelsea have been preparing for wholesale changes for their attacking unit, as I've been stating and reporting on quite a lot recently. It's no surprise why Leon Bailey is being linked with. I'm going to be doing a video on Leon Bailey for tomorrow, but Chelsea are looking on bringing in replacements for Willian and for Pedro. Now, if Mkhitaryan does leave in the January transfer market, expect to see Willian signing for Manchester United. Because Chelsea won't turn down the money that United would offer. United would have to offer more money to Chelsea to bring Willian in during January, and Chelsea would use that money to reinvest in other attacking players, most likely Leon Bailey being one of the priorities. Now, moving on to the final story, and that is in regards to Andreas Christensen. Now, reports have come out that he is looking to get a new contract extension, but I've actually been told this a week prior in advance that Christensen was going to be offered a new contract, but it wasn't necessarily going to be an extension. It was going to be a new contract, bringing him up to par with first team players. Now, currently Christensen is earning £35,000 per week, which he's been earning for a few years now. Now, as I stated earlier, most times when I say I'm very likely, I'm 90% sure, but the 10% in football is always going to happen depending on numerous factors. There is a possibility that Christensen and his agent might decide, you know what, give me an extra year on top of increased wages. That could be a possibility, but most likely he'll get a new contract, just earning more money, bringing him up to par with first team players, because already his contract does go into 2020 or 2021, so he's got a lot of years on his contracts already. But anyway, you guys, that's going to bring an end to today's Transfer Daily video. Please like, comment and subscribe. I want to hear some of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. And please, if you haven't pressed the bell notification button, what are you waiting for? Press that and stay tuned to all things Blue Lines TV. Now, tomorrow, I'm looking to do another double upload. I'm going to be bringing out the match preview for the Bournemouth game and a match review later on that night. So I actually might move tomorrow's Transfer Daily video to the following day, because I don't want to have 3 videos up in the same day. Anyway, you guys, I will see you all tomorrow. I'm the FC. This is Blue Lines TV. Signing out.